there is entities that do work against you, because there's entities that were created just from your thoughts that now exist based upon human thought. And without humans, they can't exist. So it's in their interest to force humanity to do human shit. Oh, so y'all ain't even in the war. Y'all think it's a white man. No, there are entities that help to bring forth white men so you can occupy your time arguing about them. Now, you're going to have to think a little bit higher. Push it up, son. There are entities that you have created called depression, clumsiness, jealousy, self-hate, low self-esteem, that exist in the universe just like the made-up Jesus does exist. Because that's what thought forms are. Energy, thoughts and energy classified into a deity, deified. Your thoughts deified. Depression is deified. Shit, it has drugs, counseling. It has symptoms, behaviors. It has sacrifices. People have killed themselves because they're too depressed. Oh, it's an entity, my nigga. So it's in depression's because without a human body or humans, period, who would be depressed? Only those who are ignorant. We're talking about a world-class event where there is no more humanity. There is no more human thought. It's eradicated and done with. Depression doesn't exist. So depression has to fight for its existence, which means it has to be in favor of anything that keeps you human. Anything. Debating is an entity now. Debating has always been an entity called arguments. So that entity is getting its sacrifice right now because it's become a fad or it's become hot to argue or debate. I need to understand there's a bigger game happening here. A bigger game happening here. A bigger game happening here. It ain't about the dudes who are doing it. And this is by no means an attack on the dudes who are doing it. My attack has been, always will be, on human behavior. And you explain to me how arguing with each other is not human behavior. Somebody explain that shit to me.
Lucifer, the light bringer. Lucifer, just light bringer, this means the pineal gland. The pineal gland. Lucifer and Jesus was in the Bible equal until the Conference of Nicaea. They had to take the word Lucifer out to like 2 times. To get rid of that, because you would understand that Lucifer and Jesus is the same. Or they say Lucifer rose just like the rose as the morning star. Yes, yes. But in Revelation, Jesus said, I'm the morning star. Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's the same, polarities are the same thing. That's what this book is talking about, polarity. Satan represents melanin, the dark side of the soul. Jesus represents the yin and the yang. Jesus represents the light from melanin. It's all composites of the same coin. Called Janus or Janus, the dual-headed figure. You'll see 2 double eagles in the Masonic thing and all. That's a symbol of the Christ. Satan and Lucifer's one in the damn thing. You flip the coin. But if you see in the dark, and you see the yin and yang symbol in the dark side, you will see a little piece of light. But on the light side, you see a little piece of darkness. It's one and the same. 2 polarities of the same half. Battling for supremacy. That which is in the dark will come to the light. The only way light can be produced is through the dark. Light cannot produce light. Light can only burn out. The light that burns the bright burns the least.
So now, bringing back to the first point, what I noticed when I let myself go and just gave, that's where you get in the Bible. You let go and let God. Well, let me tell you what that really means. So let go and let God, they're really talking about let go of all of this intellectual deep shit that you think you're doing. And let the God come out in you. You God. You got the God force, that God power. That ain't God because you're melanin or whatever. Because you can have a melanin and be a fucking human. And half you niggas still are. Melanin, chakras, pineals, kundalini, all the good shit. and be a fucking human. You can have a race car in your garage, but only drive it to the Quickie Mart. And that don't make you a race car driver. Until you using it on the racetrack, then you can be called yourself a race car. Until you have a motherfucking race in that car. And you got a car, but that don't mean you racing it. So you got melanin, kundalini, pineal. That don't mean you using it. The God is a mindset. And that mindset is beyond human. That's why you understand the mind of God. If you think like a human, that's what that means. If you think like a human, you won't understand the mind of God. Like half your friends don't understand you right now. You said, I try to explain, Patty, you just don't get it. They don't understand the mind of God. You have the mind of God because it's your thinking that makes you God. God is a frequency. And here's the news. That's not the end game. The God frequency is just the highest thought in this reality. They have codes for higher thoughts. Those are called chaos beings, which all forms of creation or potential creation, that's called potential energy. That energy can become anything. Creative energy is already spent energy. It's energy that already has a definition. A cat, a rose, a hat, a dog, a flea, a tick. Those are creative energies that already have a designation, either kinetic or actually spent energy. Potential energy is like electricity. It can become any appliance that you plug into. We are chaos beings. Our melanin is the substance of chaos beings that have not only a reality in here as physical and spiritual, but a reality in the ancient world. It is the primordial substance that dominates all substances. But it needs to be spiritualized with your thoughts. And you have not done that because you think like a human. You think about your job and how to win. You don't think, and you do have to do that. But you don't put that in this small category. So when you let God out, these things will start to, these minor things called your job, your mortgage, your rent, your kids, the police, taxes, court, and all the rest of that shit becomes a small thing. Because in your mind, you think it's your greatest challenge on planet Earth. It is. But your real greatest challenge is to get in touch with your divinity. So you have to lose yourself in all of these symbols, all of these deities, all of these mythologies, all of these lectures. Figure out how to fucking heal yourself with peach soda.
And this is the wrong thing to do. Consistently tell people what your plans are.
Why is that?
Why? Because their energies, essentially, no matter how positive they are, they're against you. They become rooted. They become part of what it is you deal with. Say, for instance, you tell somebody, I want to do this. I want to do this. And they're very close to you. And they're seeing what you're going through. And then they start telling you, well, why don't you do this? Or here's what you need to be doing. Well, you tell me that you're going to do this. How much longer? What's going on now? Somebody's added pressure to you. And no longer does that gift that was given to you inside for what you want to do, no longer does it belong to you. It belongs to everybody else. And they're pitching in and they're affecting your concentration. They're inside of what it is that you are creating. It's like somebody, like a woman carrying a baby, 3rd and 4th month. All of a sudden, somebody says, well, you know what? That umbilical ain't giving enough. Let me go ahead and stick another umbilical in there. Let me put something else in there that, I think that belongs. No. This is mine. This is me. And that's why the baby is covered. That's why you don't see anything, because everything that actually is created in darkness. It's created in mystery. That's where you have to understand. When you create a thought that you want to see come into reality, you don't share that with anybody.
Not even your significant other, your children, none of that.
No.
God.
Because you have to understand that they're individuals unto themselves.
Yes.
Right? They are not you.
Yes.
Okay?
If you don't have the ability or the opportunity to have an altar, then you can improvise. You're speaking with your ancestors all the time anyway, because you can hear voices in your head. And how do you honor them? It's really your thoughts, your intention, keeping them in mind, giving gratitude, reverence and respect. And that's what we do with all our ancestors. So, yeah, I mean, don't, until you're in a position where you can have your own space and your own altar, then you can have that. But yeah, you can just talk to them, communicate with them. They do communicate with you. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, just like how they were alive when you communicate. This is the same way you communicate when you're on the other side. Same way.
And another thing people forget is you are your ancestors as well. You're a reflection of them. It's like a mirror. So, you know, when people say the gods, the Elohims, if you're their children, then you are from them, so you're also them.